On August 25, 2025, Typhoon KAJIKI, which intensified in the South China Sea, directly affected the lives of millions of people across the region by striking Hainan Island in southern China and the central coast of Vietnam. This high-intensity storm brought torrential rains, destructive winds, massive evacuations, and infrastructure collapse, leading to complete regional paralysis with both countries placed under maximum alert status. The first effects in China became apparent Sunday evening as the typhoon approached the southern coast of Hainan Island. According to official statements, more than 102,500 people were directly affected by the storm by 9 a.m. Monday. China's National Meteorological Observatory activated a yellow alert, the third highest level in their 4-tier warning system. Although the typhoon center had not yet officially made landfall, part of its eye moved over the city of Sanya, with consequences equivalent to a direct impact. KAJIKI was the 13th typhoon to strike China this year and passed offshore from Sanya toward the Lingshui Autonomous Region late Sunday night. The deputy director of Hainan's Provincial Emergency Management Department stated that the storm had severely disrupted communication networks, fuel supply, and municipal services. By Monday morning, a transmission line in Changjiang County was damaged, and 3,000 cell towers were out of service province-wide, affecting 45,000 landline subscribers and 15,000 mobile subscribers, primarily in southern cities and counties like Sanya, Lingshui, Ledong, and Baoting. Infrastructure damage was not limited to communications. 22 gas stations across the province were forced to suspend operations, though authorities announced that most would be quickly resupplied and resume operations. Despite this, daily life was severely disrupted. Approximately 20,000 people were evacuated from the island to safe areas. Roads were blocked, power and water outages occurred, and communication lines collapsed. In Sanya alone, more than 20,000 trees were felled or uprooted. One residential complex was flooded, and more than 7,000 households were without water. China's National Meteorological Center announced that the storm's effects would not be limited to Hainan. Strong winds will blow along the coasts of Guangxi and Guangdong through Tuesday. Heavy rains will persist in waters surrounding the western part of the South China Sea and the Gulf of Tonkin. According to forecasts, between 25 and 35 centimeters of rain is expected to fall across Hainan, Guangdong, Guangxi, and Yunnan provinces, significantly increasing the risk of flooding and landslides. Parallel to the worsening situation in China, the typhoon's path shifted westward to reach Vietnamese shores. The Vietnamese government activated emergency preparedness measures starting Saturday, August 23rd. More than 300,000 to 500,000 people were evacuated from coastal areas to safe zones. Coastal areas from Thanh Hoa to Quang Tri were directly in the typhoon's path. Consequently, the government closed schools and airports and implemented emergency plans. Vietnam's National Center for Hydrometeorological Forecasting classified KAJIKI as a Category 12 typhoon, moving very rapidly at 20 kilometers per hour. Although winds partially weaken when moving over land, experts warned that the heavy rains it brings could trigger flash floods and landslides. According to meteorologists, up to 40 centimeters of rain fell in some areas in just 3 hours. Vietnamese Prime Minister Pham Minh Chinh issued an urgent directive ordering ministers and local leaders to immediately evacuate residents from dangerous areas. The government deployed 15,000 soldiers and 100,000 paramilitary forces on standby to participate in disaster response efforts. 2 airports in Thanh Hoa and Quang Binh provinces were closed. Vietnam Airlines and Vietjet Airlines canceled all their flights. According to the Vietnamese government, KAJIKI was the 5th typhoon to strike the country this year. Meteorologists described it as a very unusual system due to its rapid progression and sudden intensity. The Vietnamese government compared KAJIKI's strength to that of Typhoon Yagi, which had struck northern Vietnam less than a year earlier, killing approximately 300 people and causing $3 billion in damage. Monday afternoon, the Vietnamese Meteorological Service announced that the typhoon had remained nearly stationary for almost 3 hours, causing more intense rainfall in certain regions. Hourly updates indicated that wind speeds still ranged between 103 and 133 kilometers per hour, with the storm moving westward at 10 to 15 kilometers per hour. At 4 p.m. local time in Vietnam, winds were still blowing violently. Flooding erupted in northern provinces, leaving thousands of people stranded on their rooftops. Desperate calls for help spread across social media. Meteorologists predict that rainfall over the coming days will affect a vast region extending from northern Vietnam to northern Laos. According to forecasts, the heaviest precipitation will reach between 300 and 400 millimeters, enough to cause large-scale flooding and landslides in the region. The Vietnamese government is deploying extraordinary efforts to contain the devastation caused by KAJIKI. Thousands of people have been forced to take shelter in gymnasiums, stadiums, and public buildings. We extend our condolences to the residents of Hainan Island in China and the coastal areas of Vietnam who are suffering the consequences of Typhoon KAJIKI. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to get the latest and most accurate information on natural disasters. You can follow the news by activating notifications when you subscribe. You can also join this news community by sharing your perspectives and thoughts in the comments.